The summer I learned to listen to rain. The old house on the hill wore its weather like a shawl, and never seemed hurried to shed it. I was 10 then, a girl with skinned knees and a mouth full of stories I told to the lilac bushes by the kitchen door. The house itself was a kind of storybook lantern-lit staircases, a corridor where the shadows learned your name, a window that kept its own counsel. My sister Ada, we called her Addie, half a joke, half a memory, was older by 2 years and patient with the quiet things that frightened me. The way the cellar door sighed when the wind shifted, the way the pantry clock, which hadn't worked in years, still announced each hour with a faint, stubborn tremor. The summer Mara came to us was not as Mara lived on the edge of our street, the way a rumour lives in a town, offhand, almost accidental, but indispensable once you've heard it. She wore a ribbon in her hair that never seemed to lie straight. She wore the sun on her skin, and a determination to know every corner of our old house, as if it belonged to her in some unspoken way. We were equals in small curiosities, marauders of cupboards and drawers, and the secret door Ada claimed was hidden behind the great clock in the dining room. We found it one Sunday when the rain paused long enough to allow a child's breath to fog the window. The kitchen clock, an object of quiet stubbornness, had a brass button on its side, the sort of thing a man meant to forget but a child could not help noticing. I learned later that the button was a latch, not a mere ornament. The latch released a shallow panel in the wall, revealing a narrow slit of a passage, obscured by cobwebs and dust, smelling faintly of old rain and pennies. Mara pressed her fingers to the wall as if to coax a memory out of it, and I followed, half frightened, half exhilarated by the sense that we were tipping time on its edge. Behind the panel lay a stair, not grand, but a stair that curled downward as if it were listening for a secret. The air grew cooler as we descended, and the house, the old, patient, listening house, seemed to lean closer to us, as if to offer tips on how to listen better. At the bottom, Mara lit a candle that sputtered and then settled into a warm, glowy amber. The chamber beyond was a room that history had forgotten, with a low ceiling and walls lined by shelves that bore the weight of forgotten letters, moth-eaten photographs, and a trunk that looked as if it had slept for 100 years and would sleep again if not disturbed. The first thing Mara showed me was a photograph, a small ragged thing, edges curled with the heat of years. It showed 2 children, a boy and a girl, their faces half turned to the camera, their gazes almost touching. The girl's hair curled like a first autumn leaf, and the boy's eyes held a colour I couldn't name, something blue and grey at once, something that felt like rain held in a bottle. The inscription on the back was in a handwriting I did not recognise, though it looked old enough to be my mother's mother's. The entry spoke of rooms that remembered, of a well behind the house that could echo a person's true name if you asked the water the right question. They spoke of a girl who was not born so much as chosen by the house, to be a kind of witness, a memory that could step tangible into a room if you learned its password. The diary warned that some doors should not be opened, that curiosity could invite a weather you were not prepared to weather. We read until the candle burned low and the rain began again outside the walls, tapping a careful rhythm on the slate roof, as if the house were tapping back, in time with our beating hearts. When Mara slid the diary back into its place, we found a loose photograph beneath it, one I had not seen before. It showed the same 2 children, but older, as if time had run a loop and paused again to show us a version of ourselves we hadn't yet become. And written across the bottom, in the same careful hand as the other inscription, was a name neither Mara nor I dared utter aloud. Ellison. It was a surname, a place, a voice that sounded to me strangely like my own childhood nickname. That night, because a summer house does not close its doors just because you have learned its secrets, we left the stair and went to the attic to look for more. The attic was a library of the years the house forgot to throw away. A room with a skylight, smeared gold by the day's heat. There, in a box of old letters bound with a ribbon that had long since frayed, I found the truth I did not yet know how to name. The letters bore the same handwriting as the diary. The words spoke of a house being kept safe by those who spoke of it as if it had a heartbeat. They spoke of hospital rooms and hours that were counted in the soft clack of a metal bedrail, of a girl named Mara, who believed the house would keep her safe if she kept its memory alive. They spoke of Ellison, and the name gave me a jolt that travelled from my stomach to my throat as if I had swallowed a stone. Ellison was not a surname spoken with laughter or casual familiarity. It was the name of a child who had once lived in the house and gone away, never to be seen again, as though the earth herself had pressed pause on the memory of his footsteps and the house had decided to keep watch over them. The letters explained that Mara's mother had kept Ellison's memory alive because she had believed Ellison to be a part of the house's own memory, the kind of being that could only exist if someone kept repeating his name. And Mara, in a tone both tender and tremulous, wrote that the house would only remember if they told the truth aloud. We did not understand then that truth would be a heavy thing, heavier than the air in that attic on a summer night. We spoke Ellison's name aloud, softly at first, as if the name itself were a prayer that could coax the house into a kinder mood. And in the moment we spoke, the house breathed in a way I had never noticed before. The walls exhaled a slow, deliberate sigh. The floorboards settled into their places as if listening more closely. And the candle's flame steadied, as though it finally trusted us. From that summer forward, the house began to reveal its memory in the way old people reveal their histories, in small, almost unremarkable ways that accumulate into a weight you can't ignore. A door that we used to slip past to escape a scolding would not close properly unless you touched it in a particular manner. A window's corner, long stained by rain, would glitter with a mote of dust that looked suspiciously like a tiny shining eye. The attic's trunk, when opened now, held not only letters but a second diary,